Yeah, I just published 2013 predictions that were made at the beginning of the year, and it looks like they're very accurate, actually. But I want to get into one thing about versus silver versus cash, gold, and markets and equities and all that type of stuff. Um, there's one little unknown factoid out there. It's a major good indicator of what's going on. If you look at you have the price earnings ratio, right, which is always something very much to factor into when you're buying a stock. What's the PE ratio, right? That's a very common thing. But there's another thing you can look at. It's called the future expected forward earnings versus the price earnings ratio. And right now, when you're looking at terms of future expected earnings, and that's really what you got to look at. You really, sometimes it's better not to look at the past. What do you think's going to happen in the future? And if you're looking at the future expected earnings versus, and you figure out a price earnings ratio like that, it looks like stocks are at an all-time premium, big time expensive. And that's what you got to really look at, is not so much what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future. And you might look at the metals like that too. The last couple of years look bad for silver, gold, and platinum. Well, not so much platinum and palladium, but actually not so much palladium as any of them. But going forward in the future, silver and gold right now are pretty cheap. And they've been saying that. I know they've been saying that. But, there is this little deflationary pullback before the big inflation comes into being. And that is just a fact. And, you're guessing if you think silver's going down to this, that, or whatever. You are guessing. I've never said to go all 100% silver, and I got attacked for that back when silver was going up like 30 to 45, and all that kind of garbage. People were saying, "Oh, what are you going to do? Hold fiat? It's going to be worthless." I never said to go all 100% into silver. I said mostly silver's probably, it's going to be erratic, but it's going to probably turn out to be an extremely good bet. So, like I said, this is typical. The deflation period happens before the big inflation comes in. Now, I also want to point out some other things. A lot of people are getting silver and gold and all this kind of stuff for survival reasons. If I start thinking about it, what would I rather have? Silver, gold, or Harley-Davidson, tools and food and, things like that. I mean, I would not be, metals is not the be-all, end-all of everything for survival. That is a definite truth. And guns, of course. Guns are freaking, you can hunt with guns, you can get food with guns and that type of stuff. So, when people are looking at the big picture, it's, I don't think they're really looking at the big picture. And, that's why I don't really like even some of the people that are even heavy into the metals all the way, because they're not looking at the big picture. When, say, price of silver goes up to, I don't know, $80 an ounce, right? I know you're laughing, it ain't going to go to 80, right? But it really might go past that, too. What the price, you got to figure this, all the commodities, if the reason silver would go that high is not really due to fundamentals that the mines are running out. It's going to be, investor panic in the mine and the fact that the dollar's getting destroyed. You're going to see gold go up. But what else? What else is going to go way up if gold and silver goes way up? Oil. And you know what? That's going to be a major problem. Because right now it's not too much of a problem. But, when you actually get the $8 to $10 worth of gas for a gallon, that's going to be a problem. That's when I talked about the bicycle is very important, the motorcycle. Like I did a halfway fill up on the motorcycle. It was like $5.50 last night. And that's going to be very important. Now, actually, my bike is, I don't know why the hell it gets such good gas mileage. It gets 48 to 50, and it's 1200 with a racing cam. The heads are ported. It's got racing valves in it. It's got a whole bunch of shit in it. And it's like, it gets better mileage than the stock one. I don't know why, but it does. But, that's the thing. You want to have something that's very economical to get around. And, I advocate the motorcycle. And if you're in the northern area, I don't know, get a trike or some shit. You got snow tires on it, whatever. But, things like that are going to be more important for survival than silver. And if you're in the stock market, the Dow, and you're sitting dumb and happy right now and you made a lot of money, I don't like telling people like specific advice. I would not short the market because I don't really know if it's going to go down due to, because the Fed wants to keep it up. But if you made money in the stock market right now, I'd get the hell out. I'd get out. Either sit back in cash, buy yourself some metals or something like that, buy yourself lots of food or whatever, because I think the one premise, what they talked about with the future price earnings ratio is going to be estimated on future earnings, it's going to be, everything is way overbought right now. Way overbought. Stock prices are ridiculously high, compared to where the actual economy is. And, if you want to skip looking at silver and gold and all this type of stuff, look at copper. If copper's been depressed the last couple of years, it's kind of going like this, copper, that's really telling you what's going on in the globe. So why are stocks going like this? It's because the central banks are buying. Once they change that policy, they might. If you look back in the 20s, it was the bankers that were keeping up the stock market. Then the bankers pulled out. Basically, the Federal Reserve is a cartel of banks owned by, it's a private corporation, right? They're going to pull the rug out from underneath people at the last minute. And, one of the things they said about in that one of those 2013 predictions I just put out was about people would lose about, I think, 40% of their 401ks in the next couple of years. And they will. So, just, be smart, be shrewd. And, don't worry too much about the economic numbers because there's always ways to get around things without the numbers. And like I said, there's always shrewder ways to pretty much go without even using money that much. There's a lot of that around. And, or using a lot less money. One was with the transportation, with the motorcycle, others with the garden, and just, cutting back on cost. There's a lot of different ways you can cut back on cost like crazy. So, a lot of people are not looking at the big picture all the way, and they're kind of like, thinking cash is king. Well, that's going to be a very temporary type thing. Cash is king. Actually, the trend, the deflationary trend hit 2013, but it's not going to last that long. There's a lot of stuff that can change that around real quick. So I say stay with your metals, very important. But more important than buying more metals is to actually buy things that are good for your ultimate survival, because we may be getting into, we thought the end is coming in all the tough times. America has not experienced tough times since the 30s. And when it does go into real tough times, it's going to be tough times. And shiny silver coins and cash even aren't going to help you so much. It's actually having the actual stuff on hand that you need is going to be the most important thing. So just beware. If you made money in the stock market right now, looking going forward, the PE ratio, the going forward PE ratio based upon estimated earnings that will become about in the future, it looks like they're way overpriced. So do what you want. If I was in the general stock market right now, I'd be selling. But I'm not in the general stock market, so I'm holding on to what I got. So anyway, that's all I got for an update.